Hello, this is the Tepid Coder. I'm going to continue where I left off in my last SQLite3 video, where I was encapsulating things into class objects. And in this one, I'm going to make it so that I'm able to do things like bind input arguments using methods just from the class that are going to be templated, and also bind the columns that are returned from selection queries into arbitrary variables that you pass by reference, also within methods of the class. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say I have these two methods. In order to get these to work, I'm going to need to do SQLite statement. And inside of this class, I'm going to have a function that returns a bool. It's going to be called retrieve columns. Okay. Now it's going to take templated argument t by reference, t value, let's say, and then it's going to take t args. So these are templated arguments. Okay, type name t and type name dot t args. Okay, so in here we're going to return a function we've already made. Retrieve query columns, I called it. This is going to be a bit easier because there's less things I actually need to pass now as the caller of this method. Because the statement just comes from a statement. The zero-based column index to start with is just going to be 0 always when you're calling this. And then we're going to pass whatever arguments you pass to us. So t value, and then it's going to be fargs dot dot expanded. Okay. And so let's try and actually use that. I no longer have to call get statement. I shouldn't have to call the function with that zero-based argument anymore either. So does that still work? Looks like it does. Okay, that's a lot cleaner now. I like that. And when I'm actually binding arguments, I want to do something similar. I'm going to say template type name t. I'm going to say type name dot t-args. I'm going to say bool bind input arguments. T. Actually, I don't need to reference it there. Just t value. Although, if I can, I probably should, right? I should do const like this. And then const t args dot fargs. I should be able to do that as well. So it'll pass it by value if it's temporary. Otherwise, it'll pass by reference if it can. Yeah. I mean to say bind input, it's just be bind arguments. Because retrieving the columns is different. Yeah, I was going to call it bind arguments. Okay, so template type name t, and be type name dot t args. I'm going to say bool bind arguments const t value const t args fargs. Oops, like that. Yeah. Okay. And I have, what is it? Bind query arguments. Return that. It's going to be t value fargs dot and we're going to have the statement, and we're starting at 1, I think. I think that's right. See if that compiles first. Okay, to put type name, tip and is not declared. It's 54. Type name, nope. Type name, nope. Type name. 265, statement's not declared. 265. What? What did I type in? 265. In the statement. 265 now. Oops, 265. What? No, it's... Oh, because I didn't... Jeez, okay. SQLite. Comes from the SQLite statement class. Okay, let's actually use this now. So, bind query arguments. So here I want to say bind arguments. I'm going to pull that from uPointer. It says select like this. Don't need that or that anymore. And I'm only binding that one thing. That's way easier to read. Cool. And it still works. That's getting a lot easier to use. I don't know if it's any safer, really, except for cleaning up resources. It's less likely I'm going to leak any resources now because I have the database handle being freed as soon as it goes out of scope here. So once this function ends. And then same thing with a statement that I create. It can be freed just as soon as this function goes out of scope as well. I would kind of like to have a callback for each returned row. I'm calling step here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a for each row with a callback. So let's do that. For each row. And I'm going to say standard function doesn't really need to do anything in particular, does it? Well, I kind of want to pass the arguments to it. Although you can do that yourself inside the function, so it doesn't really matter. So bool, if there was some error, function, row, callback. That should be fine, I think. So it's SQLite statement. Like that. I should be able to just kind of steal the code I had down here, reuse it. So let's do that. Just paste that again. For each. It's right here. Okay. So what I want to do is every single time I get a row, I want to call that function. Fn row callback. If I want to be really crafty, I could make it so that it also handles the binding for me. Maybe I'll do that in a second, but for now I just want to see if this still works. So it should just be, for each row, it'll be uPointer, ss select. Okay. And here I'm going to do return void. Yeah. So here I could say, on success, grab the row and print it out. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's get rid of all of this. I need to have access to unique pointer as a select. Okay, so 268 doesn't like 268. So int. This is going to return false here, and it's going to return true here. It's just step. It's the function inside this class. I actually want to do right over here. It's just going to be this finalize. 446. So in this case, we're just returning. Yeah. Okay, looks like it still works. So that's cool. So there's one more thing I can do with this to make it a little bit better. And that is, I could make it so that I have standard string name. I'm just going to take these out of here, basically. Okay. And when I call this, I want to actually pass the arguments to bind after the function. So it's going to be str name. It's going to be st4age double height. As long as the scope right here is being captured, I can define them here. I can pass them here to the function, and then I can still access them because these are being referenced inside of here. So that should be legitimate, I think. It's going to be a little bit difficult to reason about, though. I'll try it, though, to see how it looks. So for each row. Okay, so if we succeeded, And let's actually grab these arguments. Okay. That's going to be, geez, fargs. There's going to be targs, reference those. So template t, or type name t rather. Then we have type name targs. So can I actually do that? Yeah, I don't even need the type name t. I only need the function arguments, which is going to be right here. Just fargs dot. Okay. But now when I actually call this function like that, I'm going to say targs reference some function arguments. Okay. So that should work. And if we can't retrieve the columns, then we will return false. Something went wrong. And probably, I don't know, do I want to finalize in that case? I don't know. In this case, I definitely do. I think one thing I want to do actually for this callback function is make it so I can return early. So I'm actually going to make this return bool. I'm going to say, if not this, then the caller told us to end early. Return false. Okay. Otherwise, we're returning true around here. Yeah. I need to change that return type inside of here as well. Okay, for each. Okay, this needs to return bool. I'll return true. Keep grabbing rows. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. Oh, I put template inside of that. That's stupid. So 261 template. Okay, 265. I did the same thing. I copied and pasted. Okay, 274. 274. Will be success. 275. Okay. It just comes from this class. I can just call it directly. And it still works. So that's pretty cool. That makes things a lot easier. So now if I actually look at this code I'm doing, I create an instance of it. If it fails, I catch it and bail out. And then what I want to do, if I prepared the statement, is I bind the arguments. The only thing I'm binding to it is the question mark becomes the tepid coder right here. So select everything from users where the name matches the tepid coder. So that's pretty cool. And I could bind any number of arguments there. I could do the same thing for an insert or an update statement. Okay, so if we failed, just bail out, and automatically, since this is inside of a unique pointer, it's going to clear the SQLite3 statement. And since the database handle is in my shared resource class, or I mean scope resource class rather, it's automatically going to scope 2 and free. So that's super cool. I'm going to get rid of this clearing resource thing because I know it works. No need to have that. Maybe I should do some different types here. I'm going to say something like standard unique pointer, SQLite statement. Let's do one for uPointer insert, let's say. Okay. Create a table is actually an update. So I'm going to say create table, create users maybe. How about that? I'm going to make another one called insert. And I kind of want one called update as well. It actually updates something. So update. Okay. So now for this, what I want to do is I want to say grab that and set my try catch block. For any of these failing, it'll catch that. So what I call that, it was uPointer create table. I should really say SS create table. Alright, it's part of the string. I don't need to do that. I'm actually going to leave this down here. Yeah. And then's right here. That looks really ugly, but I'm fine with it for now. Okay. And then what else do we have? In fact, I could just do comments for all these now. Okay. Cool. So now let's grab this. Select find it again in a second. I am going to do this for now. Let's do pointer ss insert equals standard make unique select statement SQLite statement. That's what I call it, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. I'll do one more over here. Pointer ss select. Let's do that. Okay. This will have to get later. Okay. Look at that. Yeah, I'm actually going to space this over. It's just bothering me too much. It's going to add a lot of extra spaces since it's just a raw string, but it doesn't really affect the query at all, so I might also just do that. Okay. SS insert, SS select. So the update I never actually set to anything. So I guess I can do that. And again, for this, it just needs to be standard make unique SQLite statement. Okay. Okay. So we have database, we have string, and then we need to bind these arguments later, actually, so that part's wrong. Pointer ss update equals standard make unique SQLite statement. Okay, we're going to have the database. We're going to have, I realized I never actually stuck that into a shared pointer when I created the database. This really should be a standard shared pointer like this. Shared pointer. Inside of this class, I'm never actually using this directly, and I'm never actually assigning this to anything. So I was never actually keeping the instance alive. So let's actually do that now. I'm going to call this ms pointer to db. sptrdb. Okay, and inside my constructor, if I can find that real quick. Finalize good statement, query columns. There's the constructor right there. I'm going to say that equals the shared pointer to a database, sptrdb. Standard shared pointer sptrdb. Okay. So now I'm storing it. So in the main function, I need to actually create an instance of this somehow. If I do this, I can't just have it in a scope resource like that. I need to actually make a SQLite3 database class. I kind of don't want to do that, but SQLite3 database. So it's going to be SQLite database unique pointer pointer database. I'm just going to do that. But now I have to actually make the thing, so okay. I guess we're doing this. So I'm going to say class SQLite database private public, come on, public SQLite database okay, no default constructor, SQLite database, path, okay, SQLite database, do that, okay. Instead of returning, we're going to say throw standard run, oops, not run time error, and I'll just use this whole thing as the error. In fact, view format. Like that. Then we're going to do standard make format args, and it's going to be the LPSC database path. Okay. There, now I can just throw this whole thing as an error. So, standard error, or not, just error rather. Otherwise it worked. Now this database handle is going to be SQLite3 MDB, let's call it. Starts out as null pointer. If I do that, I should be saying MDB. Can I even do that? Not really. I don't think I can, because I have to pass by reference like this. Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, so we attempt to open it, and it's going to be LPSC database path. Okay. If it opens it, great, it's stored. Otherwise, we don't care, we're good. Now there's some things I want to add though. Get last insert row ID. Probably some other things like that. Const char. Last error. Let's see, get last error. Void const no accept. SQLite database get last error. Void const no accept. It's going to return a const char pointer. We're just going to return SQLite3 error MSG from this database, MDB. Okay. So let's do that. SQLite database. Here it is. Okay. So now I have the database open. I need to get the database handle from it though. So I'm going to say SQLite. Come on, SQLite database. Okay. SQLite3 database. Void const. I don't want to call it const because they could mess with that. It'd be a bad thing. I don't want them to mess with the handle, but they might. SQLite database. Oops. Okay, database. Void SQLite3 pointer. Okay. So what am I returning? It should just be MDB. Yeah. Okay. So now when I actually prepare these statements, I need to do this. Hit database. Which is kind of annoying, but we'll make do. Okay. Okay, then we're going to have a query string, which is going to be about update users set ICT4 age equals 102, where stir name equals question mark. Okay. Cool. So we'll try that in a second. First of all, though, we're going to say pointer ss insert. It's going to be bind arguments. I want to bind what? What am I doing to insert? These. Okay. Cool. I'm going to call this new coder. 101, how about 77.7? Okay. If not, error. Couldn't bind the insertion queries arguments. Okay, return 0, let's say. Otherwise, we're going to try to actually run it. So you pointer ss insert step. If not, if SQLite, okay, not equals this. And return 0. We're going to say standard C error. What is it? UPTR DB get last error. Couldn't insert a record. Last error. Del, okay. Otherwise, it did work. We're gonna get the last insert record identifier. So, where is that? This right here is what I want. So inside my database class at the top here, I need to add a method for that rather. So I'm gonna say xt4t get last insert identifier. Okay. SQLite database get last insert identifier. That's not what I want. Is it that? There we go. MDB gives a void, turns into xt4t. I think, yeah. So that should work. So get last insert identifier. I almost want to call it like get new record identifier or something, but I'll do that. Let's insert a record identifier. Name. ICT4t, ICT4 new record identifier equals that from the DB. There. Cool. And then we're binding our select thing. We didn't actually bind anything for the create table yet, so handle record insertion test. Okay, say handle table creation test. Tably apparently, or tab. Okay, I'm gonna do handle table update test. Cool. So the creation one, I just need to step and it'll be done. Should just be this step. So the success equals this. Actually, not even that, it's an int. right? It's like I ret equals that. Have that defined anywhere yet? No. Okay. If I ret not equals SQLite, okay. Standard C error. Error failed to create a new table. Okay. Turn 0. Anything else? I thought of one thing. SQLite database. What am I calling the destructor? I never made it. Okay, so SQLite database. SQLite database. SQLite3 close. Database handle. Okay. Okay, we're doing that. Right here, okay. So the update test I haven't really messed with, so SS is going to be T pointer to that. SS insert, or not insert, but update. Bind arguments. All I'm binding is string name equals, let's say, the type of decoder or something. The type E decoder, apparently. Okay. Yeah. So it should update that record. Pointer SS update. Step. I'm going to say ret equals that. And then if iret not equals SQLite, okay. So it failed. Return 0 and complain. Standard C error. Error. Failed to update the existing record. So let's try and compile this and see what I got wrong. Lots of fun stuff. Okay, so line 72, DB is not declared. It's going to do a lot of that, I'm sure. MDB. Okay, 381, not declared. MDB. Wait a minute. That's actually MS pointer to DB dot get. Wait a minute. That's not right either. It is MDB but dot get database. It's actually an arrow if it's a shared pointer to it. Oh my. Yeah, okay. DB. Yep, okay. It's actually this. Right, okay. But then down at the bottom, unique pointer. I want this to be a shared pointer, so I can share it with the statements. Pointer, so u pointer, db, sptr, sptr. So that's all of them? Huh, okay. Okay. So 390 db is not declared. This is in SQLite statement. There's actually sptr db. What else do we have? We have line 394. Yeah, right. Okay, so database. Okay, 376. Probably not how I declared it. So where's the statement for that? Here's the constructor. SQLite database. So 390. Can I convert that? Okay. 90. database. Okay, 415. All right, equals standard make shared SQLite database. In fact, what I really want to do here, come on, is inside of this try, the first thing I want to do is get a valid database instance I can use later. Okay, it's going to be sptrtb. Okay. Getting there. So 447. Create users to create tables. So 447. 447. Create users. Okay. I'll say create users table. I like that better. Table. Okay. Create table. Users. Is that it? I think that's good. 469. Yep. Okay, 505. 505 again. Rex, it needs the actual database handles. It's going to be database. This is why aesthetically typed language is nice. Instantiation of unique pointer, make unique, whatever, blah, blah, blah. 429 required from here. I should call for that. So let's try 429. Right, over here I'm just actually passing the shared pointer now, which is better. If I open the database and then create a statement and return the statement and let the database go out of scope, then the database has been invalidated by hitting the construct or destruct rather. And the SQLite statement then would also be invalid because it's referring to a database handle which has been invalidated. But in this case, it's using a shared pointer to it, so the statement is keeping the database alive. So that's fun. Cool, so better. And it looks like it failed. Got a little crash there. Let's find out why. So, first of all, inside the try catch, I want to do this. I'm going to say standard cout created database instance and standard flush. Okay. Created, what is this? A select statement. Instead of create, I'm going to say prepared a select statement. Okay. Over here, insert statement. Insertion statement. Over here we did a create table, create users table statement. And finally we have a, yeah, we prepared an update statement. Users table statement. Okay. Past that, what do we have? Okay, I attempted to create the users table. Okay. Binded selection statement arguments. Wait, no, it's update. Binded update statement arguments. Okay. I could just say bound on them. Okay. Call the insert statement. In fact, this actually called step on it too, so I did both. Called update statement. Okay. And this one, now we've called the insert statement. And then we show the record identifier, which never happened before. But let's double check that. Okay. Query input arguments were bound, and then we actually show each row. Let's try that. Create a database instance, as far as we get. Okay. So just going this far, instantiating the SQLite statement object is what's causing the problems. So let's go there. What's happening in our constructor? Come on. There we go. So we pass a shared pointer to an SQLite database. It's trying to access it before I even have it assigned. Jeez. Okay. There we go. Failed to create a new table. Which is fine. Because the table already exists. So what I need to do here, create table, if not exists, users. So it should actually not have issues. Let me look at my update function. If I go here, what does it return? So it should equal SQLite row or SQLite done. So it's a bad check I'm doing there. SS create users. Here's where I'm stepping. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Failed to update existing record. Same kind of check here. Really, it should just be done for this in both cases. There should be a thing too for SQLite where you can get the number of updated rows or updated records. So if I do that, SQLite3 updated record count. Okay, what is that? It's SQLite3 changes. Okay. Okay, now where am I doing this one? This is for update. So it should be SQLite done. Otherwise, I want to say, think about this. Updated so many records. I'm going to say s pointer, shared pointer to database, get updated record count. Okay. SQLite database. So right here, int64t, get updated record count, void. int64t, SQLite database, get updated record count, void. Okay, and it's going to be SQLite3 changes 64, returning that on MDB. Yeah, we'll see if that works. Alright, it's updated one record. If I call it again, it should update 0 records. No, it's still updated one record. That's interesting. In some database services, if the value already is what you're updating it to, it actually will say it's updated 0 records. So I wasn't quite sure what happened there. So, couldn't insert a record. So, couldn't insert. It's going to be the same thing. Should be done. Okay. So that worked. There we go. So I think this is actually a lot better method. So at this point, if I wanted to, I can insert a bunch of different records. I kind of want to show that. That was the whole point of making these changes. So where do I have it? Here's create tables. So create the users table if it doesn't already exist. So the statement does. Okay, that should be attached to this. That's that. Okay. Cool. So here we attempted to create the user table. Here we're trying to update. Nice. Okay, here we're creating a new coder, it looks like. Now what I want to do here is the same thing again. So insert a second record with the same insertion statement. So all we need to do here is say, if not, pointer ss insert bind arguments. Okay. Complain. Standard CR error there. Error. Couldn't bind the second record columns. Second insertion record columns. That'll work. No return 0. Otherwise, we're going to do if SQLite done not equals unique pointer to insert step. Then we're going to return 0. Error. Failed to insert a second record. Okay. That looks pretty good. In this case, I'll bind something different. I'm going to say it's, I don't know, coder girl 912. How about 20? Height, 5.7. F. Yeah, have a good range data in there. Couldn't find the second insertion thing. Okay. Oh, I know why, because I didn't reset it. Oops. I could make it so every time I do a step and it hits done, it automatically just resets it for me. I don't know. Pointer ss insert reset. So allow for binding new arguments. Okay, so let's do SQLite statement. Do I have a reset function? No, I don't. I have finalize. So void reset. Call this between steps after hitting SQLite done to bind new input arguments. Okay. SQLite statement reset. Okay, we're going to do void SQLite3 reset, and it's going to be on this statement, which is in statement, like that. Okay. Let's see if that works. There, now it's working. And just for fun, let's do something like C msys64 mean GW 64 bin SQLite3 exe. Okay, open. We're in. Geez, it's decode decoder variadic templates with SQLite. Oops, it's with SQLite. Some database.dat. All of that. Some database.dat. There we go. Schema. There we go. Select everything from users. There we go. But yeah, that's pretty cool now. Now there should be a thing I can do called like begin transaction or something. I think I'll do that in the next episode if I continue this, which I should. Okay. Anyway, so let's review what we've gone over this time. I stuck the SQLite database, which is SQLite3 pointer handle, into its own class, which manages its lifetime. And I've simplified accessing some things by making it so you don't have to actually pass the SQLite handle through this class. I've also stuck this into a shared pointer, which I can share with statements. That way, a statement will never outlive the database handle, so that's a bit safer. What else? At this point, I mean, I've already abstracted away from the update, the insert, so those aren't really needed anymore, but they are kind of convenience wrappers. Retrieving the columns is done within my SQLite statement class now, which is really nice. It's also done, you know, as an easy pass-through with my insert and update functions. If you want to work with the database directly. What else? So yeah, my SQLite statement now holds that shared pointer to the SQLite database to keep it alive. It also manages the lifetime of the SQLite3 statement. It saves the query, I believe. Did I actually make that get stored in the constructor? Should I do that? I don't think I did anywhere. Okay, so m stir query equals obsc query. So I'm storing that for later, just in case I want it. Although I have no accessor method to actually get it at this point, so it's not really doing anything useful. And I've made it so that the SQLite statement can simplify binding arguments and getting the results of some kind of selection with this for each here. And you can pass arguments to bind to, so that's kind of nice. Scope resource isn't really used anymore, but that is a nice thing you can do. Like, you have a file open or something, you can scope it if it's a C handle or something. Okay, so I have shared pointer database that I pass around. I'm able to attempt to create each of these prepared statements, and if they fail, I catch them and throw an error and break out. But if I'm able to do that, then I'm also able to use them with the step function. I'm also able to bind arguments to them, so that when I use them, it actually replaces question marks with real values. I'm able to reuse them with reset here inside the statement, so I can call it multiple times without having to prepare it twice. So I'd have to prepare a statement, I'd have to use it, I'd have to finalize it, I'd have to prepare it again, I'd have to use it after binding and then finalize it again. Instead, I just create it once, you know, up here for the insertion statement. Where is that? Let's create table, insert. So I create it once for the prepared statement with these three, you know, templated arguments. And then I bind it, which is on right here. Yeah, so I bind them, I step and see if it works, and then I reset, and I can do the same thing again. So I bind more stuff, and I step through again. If that works, great. I can just keep repeating that process. And I can also do something right, start a transaction, and if there's any errors, I roll it back. Otherwise, I commit it. For a new record, same kind of process. You bind the arguments that you want to put in there. I'm able to get the actual inserted record identifier with the new pass-through method that I made. And when I'm updating, I'm able to get the number of updated records with that little pass-through function, which is kind of nice. Yeah, and here it is actually querying for results here. I basically say I'm looking for a string that matches something, and this is what it needs to match, whatever I bind. And I'm able to pick some variables to use for each row. I can keep recycling them. And then every time I grab a row, I step through with this for each and look through all of the returned rows, and I fill these, and I'm able to use them in here. So that's kind of cool. I think that's just about as simple as you could make this while still being basically as fast as possible, and also having a lot of type safety for these templated arguments that you're passing in prepared statements, because they're detected at compile time what types you're using for output bindings and for input bindings here with my bind. So at this point, it's a pretty mature SQLite3 wrapper. I need to break it up into multiple files, obviously, and that's something else I'll probably do in the next one. But if you like this, please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any criticisms or questions or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I don't think that the way I'm doing it is necessarily the best way, but it is, I think, a pretty good way. This is pretty much more or less what I use in my real projects, albeit broken into multiple files. So anyway, I think that's going to have to do it for this one. I will catch you guys later. Happy coding.